Once again, we're back here for episode 3, segment 3 of Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small, co-host Paul Ogden.
Mark's
January 28, 2012. We are coming to you from Big Hat Books in Broad Ripple. It's on the north side of Indianapolis. World Book Night is on April 23rd, 2012. If you go online by February 1st to worldbook.org, you can sign up and pick from one of 30 titles that they have of books, and then you can come here on April 16th. They're going to have a pickup party here for books. You can pick up the 20 books you order, and then 20 copies of the one book, and then give them away. And World Book Night is the night you give them away, so people will be reading more. Our guests today are Pat Andrews and Matt Stone. We're talking about the so-called Super Bowl ordinance. At the beginning of this week, I tried to arrange to get the show downtown because I thought, yeah, we're going to be downtown, maybe get it shot down there. I couldn't get any merchants who were willing to do that because everybody was too concerned about code enforcement. And I didn't mention this to Liz, I guess, but I'm sorry. We're wanting to emphasize the fact that they have in place restrictions on signage. The First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States provides for free speech. Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution of the State of Indiana provides for free speech. There's no asterisk to either of those that says, except as the NFL would want to do.
But I think it's important to point out, as Paul has pointed out on his blog, and you two are lawyers, so you would know better than me, but political speech is often more protected. It's given a higher priority than commercial speech or personal speech. Like if I was personally criticizing
commercial speech
about
commercial speech
does have protection.
But
and I think this ordinance goes too far.
But political protection is given a very high priority.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to imply that organized crime would be involved in this at all. But it seems like, but it feels like.
Well, let me make an organized crime analogy.
It feels like Tony Soprano is saying, "Hey, this thing we do. I mean, you're putting on this shindig on this Super Bowl, and we need a taste." I mean, the NFL is wanting everything, so that if somebody has, there are no ma and pa diners downtown anymore.
There's one in Town Square.
Okay, but I mean, like downtown, right downtown, they're all owned virtually by large corporations or like former local prosecutors. But it's these big entities, and so there's no real input or effect to benefit local industry and local people.
Well, slippery noodles local.
That's true.
And I think it's worth pointing out. These chains often are franchised, and those are owned by local people. They do have to pay a franchise fee to the corporate office, but it doesn't mean that. I mean, I understand your point that having a diverse array of locally owned, unique eateries and stuff, and shops and retail establishments is a benefit to the city rather than having Jimmy John's and Panera and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So instead we can look at the Slippery Noodle is locally owned, Red Garter, and Shapiro's.
Is Red Garter still there?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but what we're going to do today, and at the end of this segment, we will be getting up and going out on the street to carry our signs. Now, the sign on the left, from your point of view, with Super Bowl, that's done quite neatly and shows the effects of a liberal arts education, not only in the phrasing but also in the artistic nature of the production.
But you should have signed it at least, just for that quality.
But I feel like that'd be forging Alexander Hamilton's name or something.
Well, don't put his name, put yours.
I'll just put Publius. And then Paul did the other sign. We will be carrying these signs out on Broad Ripple Avenue, which is fairly heavily trafficked, especially at noon on a Saturday, on a very pleasant day. It's gorgeous out.
They'll definitely have the meter maids out there. I'm sorry, parking ambassador. But for parking tickets, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I get quite frequently. My idea was actually to put that in my car window, put it on Broad Ripple Avenue, then go in and have a beer.
And then get your car towed.
And then get arrested for
possible.
drunk driving.
Well, that's true.
You're in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
But so a question that a member of our audience asked just a couple minutes ago was, what does Indianapolis gain? And deal with the Super Bowl, if you wish, as the most outstanding event lately that they've done. But what do we gain by promoting ourselves as a place for conventions to
Can
go?
I answer that?
Yeah.
I work at a hotel outside of downtown, so I don't work at one of the fancy ones. But my crappy extended stay hotel, regular rate is $79 a night. Goes cheaper if you stay longer than a week. We're charging $400 a night, Thursday through Sunday. I think February 1st it's $200, and February 2nd, which is the Wednesday, I think, it's $300, and that's outside. We had no control over the bookings. It all went through ICVA.
Really?
And I had to tell people to go through the ICVA to do bookings. And right now, what I'm hearing is people are going out to Bloomington, Lafayette, Kokomo, Muncie, and just making the drive-in. But I do want to address this point of the hotel workers, is that the regular hotel workers are getting paid, $9, $10, $11, $12 an hour. And hey, I recognize it's an unskilled job, and it's an entry level and stuff like that. But the amount of work, especially in the housekeeping and laundry departments, that the hotel workers will be required to do in very limited amounts of hours, will be just short of superhuman. To do a full set of refreshed hotel rooms, just doing the towels changed out and just making the bed, not changing sheets, just making the beds. That will require a lot of manpower to do properly. And
But then you have to look, though, at whether the money that is being spent or given up in terms of tax write-offs to lure these entities, it sounds creepy,
and that money
into our town.
And that money isn't going back into the hotel to reinvest either in the employees or in the building itself. It's just going straight to the top.
It's going onto the Gulf Stream that's parked out at the airport and taking off for the Cayman Islands.
Well, I think the idea is that it will raise the image of the city, and that maybe you can't quantify the dollar amount. It's what they refer to as intangible benefit the city receives.
But if you can't,
I'm making a devil's argument here.
Yeah, I know.
But
But if you can't quantify it, then why are we shoveling all the real money to it?
Well, I don't know the validity or the basis on which they make these things, but they do free airtime. They do calculate the dollar amount for that. They're considering also, and again, I'm not sure that the on balance is worth it or not, but they're saying that between $150,000 and $300,000 in cash will come into the city's restaurants and hotels and all of that. Again, the idea that it's going to help the employees who live in Indianapolis, there is a gap there.
The people who run on tips, if you're, good servers are good servers. You work at Ruth's Chris.
That's
or
true.
Hyatt.
Tips will,
yeah,
yes.
those
yes,
people
true.
will benefit, but the hourly people, the dishwasher,
Right.
the people doing the laundry, the people coming in after the restaurant's closed to vacuum the place up and stuff like that, those people are not going to be seeing the benefit that tipped
That's
employees
true. That's true.
will
They
be
will
seeing.
mix
The
it.
managers who are salaried anyway, they aren't going to see much of a benefit. Most of this money is going to be flowing to the top.
Yes, so what we're going to do here in just a couple of minutes is we are going to go down to Broad Ripple Avenue, which is a main drag, and walk with our signs, one of which is quite artistically made, I believe, to see if code enforcement approaches us.
It's a good thing you three are all lawyers.
Well, see, here's my point, is that it's illegal that they would place a restriction on us. And if they want to write me a ticket, they can write me a ticket. I'm going to keep walking down the street. I'll be very polite and take that ticket.
Oh, sweetheart, they're not giving tickets. They're taking you into court. They have the rocket docket. Don't you know
Is this
that?
the 24-hour judge
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, the code enforcement who will be abandoning the rest of Marion County.
Oh,
So-
also the police, but.
Yeah, and the police.
I don't think they'll actually
If
pick you up. and
They
take
can't,
you to court.
if they believe that, yes, they can. They have a judge, the
24
environmental court judge, I forget his name.
Serto?
Serto?
Oh, Serto.
Serto, yeah.
You'll be in there for a while.
He's on call 24/7 to appear on this rocket docket so that for at least a brief couple of weeks, there can be immediate justice in Indianapolis. And you will stop.
Immediate justice.
For the NFL.
Yeah, for the NFL.
Well, I think these fees that code enforcement is collecting, Paul's discussed this theory before that money is fungible. I think that the money that code enforcement is collecting is going to stay in code enforcement, but at the same time, all the money that the city has shoveled to the NFL already, it's kind of like covering up for the fact that we've already given a lot of taxpayer dollars to the NFL and the Super Bowl committee and stuff like that.
Code enforcement is now on a fee basis that supposedly was calculated by the amount of time on average it takes for any particular step. And so ticketing and taking to court, those fees are supposedly set for the actual cost. But the NFL, all of their permits, because they have to have permits for temporary structures, they have to have permits for their own signage, they have to have all sorts of permits, they were done for free.
Okay.
So somebody's got to make up the difference.
So we're making a
And that's
Okay,
really
so we're
one
going-
of the things of an indirect subsidy.
Yeah.
So we're going to discover the parameters of the Indiana Constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 9, the United States Constitution, the First Amendment, as incorporated by a 1925 case through the 14th Amendment, and see just what happens here today. I'm Mark Small. I'm co-host with Paul Ogden. You're watching Civil Discourse Now. Pat Andrews, Matt Stone. It's been nice having you as guests.
We'll pick you up from bail.
Or the gulag.
Oh, we get to-
And that's if the grand poobah of the Super Bowl makes some kind of ruling that I can get out. But we'll see what happens. If nothing
You
else.
bring your toothbrush, Mark.
No, I didn't. I left it at home. But we'll see what happens. Thank you.